I get to thinking about where I'm from. I start drinking hard and talking fast and come undone. And the worst is, I know you feel this, you might be the only one. First one down through second last, got the whole crowd laughing, breathing cast by the last one. I'm far from done, we're moving down hard and fast, but I'll come back this way and I'll marry you someday. If you promise that you'll never ask me to put the bottle away. There's a kitchen window in my mind and my pretty glass bottles all in line, when all I found when I turned around is that man on the floor. I got a man and I got Alright, sounds good. Let me get tuned up and we'll be ready to go. One second, sorry. All right. So how's everybody doing today? Welcome. My name is Max Anderson. If you guys were watching last night, myself and Tater Shipley were playing some tunes right here at 10 o'clock. It was a blast. Thanks so much to Club Passim for having us. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for being here today. We're gonna be doing a Bluegrass Mandolin workshop. It's only appropriate at down home up here that we have a good old Bluegrass Mandolin workshop. So I hope everybody has their cups of coffee and their mandolins, and they're all tuned up. I think I'm mostly in tune. I think, yeah. So let's get going.
a couple things that I want to start off with are the goals that we want to accomplish today. You know, we always gotta we gotta set those goals at the start of our practices to make sure that we are focusing on something and going in a direction. So the big goals that we're gonna attain today are, first and foremost, we're gonna learn a tune, which I'm really excited to teach you guys a tune. This is one of my favorites. It's a great one to bring to jam sessions. A great one to learn some improvisation techniques, which is the next goal. We're gonna learn about some ways to take the melody of the tune that we learn and keep that melody intact, but create some variations around that melody to make new kind of interesting ways to play the tune. And the last thing is we're going to check in, well actually I guess the first thing that we're going to talk about today is we're going to check in with our right hand, which is the most important thing. You got to have a good right hand if you want to be a good flat picker. When you think about it, I think I heard somebody say this about the violin and the bow. You're not playing the violin, you're playing the bow, and the bow is playing the violin. And I think that in the same regard, you're not playing the pick, or you're not playing the mandolin, you're playing the pick, and the pick is playing the mandolin. So what we're going to talk about first is some things that I do to just check in every day and to work on those skills and to build up my strength as a bluegrass flat picker. So the first thing, if you guys notice, there's a couple handouts for this workshop. Actually, let me interrupt myself. So there's two handouts for the workshop. You can find them on the Facebook page. There's a link to the Google Drive. If you're on Instagram, just head over there really quick, download those. They're not absolutely necessary, but if you want a visual aid, I like a visual aid while you're learning, then you can have those next to you. And then if you want to go back, this is going to be archived, so if you want to go back and you want to watch the lesson again, you can have those PDFs as kind of a guide to go along with the lesson. Alright, so let's get down to it. Sweet. Yeah, so first things first, grab your pick. Just a quick discussion about pick hold. This is I think talking about the pick hold could go longer than 30 minutes if we wanted it to, but I'm going to keep it brief today. So the way that I initiate a good pick hold is I make a comfortable fist with my hand. I'm not like gripping like I'm trying to hold on for dear life. Just comfortable grasp of my hand. My fingers are still pretty loose, you know, like they're not gripping too tight. And then you want to have your thumb pretty straight, and you want to have your fingers tucked in. I'm not a big fan of fanning my fingers out like this. My reasoning behind that is your thumb is pretty strong. These four fingers in relation to your thumb are more weak. So you want to have a good, I guess, like counterbalance between your thumb. So you don't want, like this, I find that the downstrokes are just too pronounced, and then the upstrokes are just a little bit too weak. I have trouble getting a really solid upstroke with that. But when I make the fist, when I add the support underneath the thumb, then we get a more full tone. Dumpster Debbie, squirrel blunters, am I right? Yep, that's the one we're learning. We're gonna get trashy today. Yeah, pick it, don't flick it. I like that. Dumpster Debbie just commented that on the Instagram. Gotta keep your hands straight. Don't want to flick it out like that. You don't want to have a flicky tone either with your mandolin playing. Great, so the first exercise that we have to work on that is just isolating one string at a time and playing only eighth notes. So this might seem simple, but this is so important and so structural in our playing. So what I do is I get my handy metronome, crank it up, and I'm going to set it on, let's say 80 right now. We're going to set it on 80 for now. And I'm just going to do, excuse me. Alright, that won't happen again. So I'm going to set it on 80, and I'm going to do 8 eighth notes on every string. So, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. Rest. Yeah, this might even be a little bit fast. Let's slow it down a little bit. Take it down to, what is that, 66? Rest. Rest. Next string. Rest. 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 Gonna double that. me to mention the web address. So you can find this live stream on my Instagram if you're watching there. You can find it on their Facebook, on their YouTube, and you can find it at clubpassim.org. This is a part of the Down Home at Home Festival. Yeah, is that good? Is that the web address that you guys were talking about? Alright, I'm gonna hope it was, and we'll wait for further comment. But back to those eighth notes. So we're just gonna cycle through that a couple times. You want to keep increasing the metronome very, very slowly and honestly. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. This isn't a race with yourself. If you do that, you're only going to be cheating yourself. So yeah, let's speed it up a little bit. We're going to keep going with those eighth notes. Great. As you keep going, obviously we're going to speed up. We're going to get a lot faster. Eventually you'll get up like... But we want to start it slow, and we want to build up those muscles at a slow tempo. We don't just want to go straight to the fast stuff. Yeah. So moving on from that, if you've noticed, it's really boring to just play open strings. That tends to get a little bit monotonous for yourself and anybody who might be living with you. I know that Tater can attest to that. So something that I like to do in that instance is just take a little melodic phrase, something very simple, something kind of repetitive, and I like to just use that as something to keep myself interested while I'm working on the right hand. So if you go to the PDF that is labeled right hand exercises, very conveniently labeled right hand exercises, and you look at the second example, so we're going to look at those first two measures of that. And what I have is this little phrase, and it's mostly just using my first two fingers with a third finger right at the end, and this is how it goes. Just like that. And I can practice that across all strings. Yeah, so that's something that I like to do to create some interest in those kind of monotonous exercises that we do for the right hand. I really like that that grouping of intervals, I guess. Man, that's not the right word, but I like this shape because you can easily just move one finger around and you can get some different colors. You can move it up a half step and you get this. I think this is really cool. So yeah, we're working on the right hand and we're solidifying those eighth notes, and at the same time we're learning some cool licks, some cool single string licks, which are always really nice to have in your back pocket at just about any moment. The next thing that I want to talk about with right hand, the last thing that we're going to talk about is the different ways that we can play eighth notes. So now that we've gone over playing strings of eighth notes, constant strings of eighth notes, we want to start to add some variation to that, because obviously in our real life playing, we're not just going to be playing, maybe sometimes, but a lot of times we're going to have some rhythmic variation to create interest. And the thing that we're going to do to practice that rhythmic variation is we're going to go through and we're going to take 4 eighth notes, and we're going to write out all of the possible ways that you can play those 4 eighth notes. So the first most obvious way to play 4 eighth notes is to play 4 eighth notes. So there we go, that's our first one. The second one that comes to mind is to play 2 quarter notes. If you look at example 3 on the PDF, on the right hand exercises PDF, I think I wrote out all the ways that you can group 4 eighth notes. So just to go over a couple of them, let's see, that third one that we have is quarter and 2 eighth notes. We can maybe do this as a scale. flip it around to make it 2 eighth notes and a quarter note. We could do eighth, quarter, eighth, so that would be. And essentially what we're doing by going through and writing out all of these variations and learning all these variations and applying them in the scales in our practice that we do is we're taking 4 eighth notes and approaching them from every single possible way that we could. So now whenever we are playing, whenever we're actually playing music, we have that strong right hand built up for any kind of predicament. One more thing before I teach the tune that I wanted to mention with the right hand is the importance of staying on a grid. So going along with exercise 3 on the right hand exercises PDF that we were just looking at, what I mean by staying on a grid is that whenever we're playing eighth notes, we always want to be going down up with the 1 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So this is really straightforward when we're just doing eighth notes. It's just up, down all the time. But let's say we hit a string of quarter notes. Then instead of keeping that alternating picking, we're just going to go down, 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 down. It's almost like our hand is a motor and it just has to keep running even if it's not hitting strings. Even if it's not hitting strings, the direction still doesn't stop. So let's look at that example that we were looking at a moment ago that is eighth note, quarter, eighth note, this rhythm. If you're looking at the PDF, that's the last one on the first line of example 3. So, eighth, quarter, eighth. We're hitting 1 and 1 and. So, that means our pick direction is going to be down, up, down, up, down, up. If I tap my foot along with the beat, then I'm only going to be hitting downstrokes whenever my foot taps as well. So check this out. Exaggerated. Yeah, so just in summation with the right hand, we talked about some exercises for improving steady streams of eighth notes by isolating one string at a time, and then we talked about how to make that isolation a little bit more interesting by adding some simple left hand phrases. Example 2, I just wrote out a couple of different variations of the left hand phrases, so like that kind of thing. So we have a couple different ways to play that. And then the third thing we talked about was taking 4 eighth notes and writing them out in every single possible way that you could, and finding some different ways to practice that. Yeah, so I think we've talked about the right hand and eighth notes and all of the fun ways that you can play eighth notes for long enough. So I think it's time to teach a tune now. The tune that I would love to teach you guys today is one that I learned from the great fiddle player John Hartford. This is off of his album Wild Hog and the Red Brush, and it's recently been becoming. I've been playing it at a lot of jam sessions. A lot of people play this tune, so I thought it would be a good tune to teach for the workshop and teach how I play the melody, and then teach some ways that I go about improvising around the melody while keeping the melody intact, but creating some variations and giving it my own kind of flavor. So first of all, let's teach the tune. The structure of this tune is A-B, or A-A-B-B. So the A part's going to be played twice, and the B part's going to be played twice. I'm going to play. We're back. Alright, so check out the chords. And I'm going to play the tune 2 times through. So this is the A section. A section section. B section. So that's the tune. I just played it one time through. I know I said 2 times, but for time, I'm just going to play it 1 time. So yeah, the way that I like to think about this tune is by separating the melodic phrases into different colors. Let's see, where did I put my things? 1 second. So, I like to take the melodic phrases that are similar and assign them the same color so that I don't have to think about this as learning 8 bars of music. I can kind of compartmentalize it and make it learning less and just repeating those phrases. So the first thing is these 2 bars are going to be our red bar. That's the phrase. And then we come back to the same phrase. So that's also going to be a red phrase. So we got 2 red phrases right here. And then this next phrase, slightly different from this phrase right here. So we're going to give these 2 phrases different colors. So this is going to be my blue phrase. And this is going to be my green phrase right here. So I'm going to teach the red phrase to you now. I'm going to move this away so you guys can see my hand a little bit better. So the red phrase is, I have this written out in tab and in music notation, if that's how you like to learn. I'm also going to teach it to you guys by ear right now. So the red phrase, I kind of consider it two mini phrases. The first one being, the second one being. So that first one is, if you're doing fret numbers, that's 0, 0, 5, 2. And then the next phrase is 5, 2, 0, 2, 0, 5, 2. So let's put those 2 phrases together now. 3, 4. Again. One more time. Great. So that's the red phrase. We're going to play that, like I said, we're going to play it 2 times in the A section. So keep it in the back of your head because we're going to come back to it. So now let's learn the blue phrase. The blue phrase starts with a pickup. A pickup on the A string, 2-0, that's B to A. And then the actual downbeat of the blue phrase, it starts on the G chord and it starts on the G note as well. So that's the G 5th fret on your D string. So with the pickup, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. Great. And then this phrase is kind of split into 2 smaller phrases as well. The first one, including that pickup that we just learned, is so 1, 2, 3. And that's just right up the scale. 5, open, 2, 4, 5. I think that this is a really beautiful combination of 5 notes. So let's do that one more time together. 1, 2, 3. And then the second half of the blue phrase. And we're going to end on that D sharp, the 6th fret on the A string. So let's do that one more time. Once again, that's a pickup. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. So let's put those 2 together. Remember, we have a pickup before we hit the G on the D string. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3. Great, let's do that one more time. Alright. So I never know how to go fast on the live stream workshop because I can't be here to work with you guys. And if you have any questions, please do leave them. I have Instagram open, I have Facebook open, so I would love to answer any questions that you might have. Let me see. So let's keep learning the tune. We just learned the A and the B part of Squirrel Hunters. If you're just now joining, there is a PDF that you can find just go over to Club Passim's Facebook page and find this live stream, and it is on there. We just went over some right hand exercises. We're currently learning Squirrel Hunters. We just learned the A and the first two sections. We're color coding it, so we learned the red section and the blue section. And we already know this red section. So now let's go on and learn the green section. So the green section is just like the blue section, but it's shorter and easier, and it resolves. So same thing, it's starting with the pickup, going down to the G on the D string. So that's 1, 2, 3. So one more time. And then to keep going with the phrase. Yeah. 2, 3. Great. So let's do the red section and the green section. Let's combine those now. So that is the whole second line of the piece. So it's going to be that first thing that we learned, and then the resolving section of the G chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Green. Great, let's do that one more time. Wonderful, so that's the whole A section. Let's play the whole A section a couple times. If you have the PDF up, I did label these with the red and blue and red and green, so you can follow along with the chord chart that we're making right here. So let's do the whole A section. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. One more time. Great, that's the whole A section. Good job, guys. Oh, so I see a couple comments from Club Passim. So yeah, these videos will stay up. They're going to be on YouTube and Facebook. One of the features that I really dig about YouTube is that you can speed up and you can slow down your video, and you only used to be able to do it by like 50, 75%, 100, 125, and now you can do it by 10% increments. So YouTube videos, being able to slow those down, that's a great practice tool. So if anything in this workshop is going a little bit too fast, if you want to go back and you want to practice with some of these things, you have that tool. You can go on YouTube and you can speed it up, you can slow it down, manipulate it however you like. Squirrel Hunters, yeah. So now we've learned the A section. Now we're going to learn the B section. So the great thing about the B section is these two phrases, the G phrase, the G and the A phrase, are exactly the same as the A section. So we are going to label them the same. So right here we have a blue phrase. You guys can see this. Blue phrase right here. And we're ending with a green phrase. And the only thing that's different about the A and the B section is these first two bars of each line. So we're going to give that the black phrase because this is the last color that I have left. So that's our black phrase. So I'm going to teach that to you guys really quick. All right. So let's see. It's pretty much the same as the red phrase, except instead of going down, we're going to go up. The rhythm in the first measure is the same. So the first part of it is we're going up to the high A, as opposed to. So one more time, and then moving on. One more time. One more time. So let's put those two phrases together. One more time. One more time. Yeah. Once again, there is a PDF that goes along with this. If anybody's just tuning in, I have the notation and the tabs written out for all of your learning pleasures. So yeah, let's do that black phrase one more time, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna do the whole beat section a couple times. 3, 4. So there you go. That's a tune. I really dig learning things like this, because when you look at it, this isn't 32. Wait, is that 32? Nope, 16 bars. This isn't 16 bars of separate music. This is 4 different phrases. And if we learn those 4 different phrases, then we have the whole tune. And I find that for me is a lot better way to memorize it and to be able to apply some improvisation techniques. So we've got a couple minutes left, so I want to just talk about a couple of ways that I might go about improvising around this tune. So the first thing that we're going to look at is using the open A string and kind of bouncing off the open A string anywhere that we have a space in the melody. So if you look at the second page of the Squirrel Hunters PDF, I think that the name of that one is maybe like Bluegrass Mandolin Workshop. If you look at the second page of that, we have the original on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side we have some variations. So looking at the original red phrase, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, alright, I see 2 quarter notes in the first measure. So instead of playing, I'm just going to put open A strings in the spaces. So now we go from this phrase to yeah, totally different flavor. Both of them are the right melody. Just 2 different, like I said, 2 different flavors. Moving on with that, if we look at the blue phrase, this one, there's quite a bit of quarter notes in there. 1, 2, 3. And hey, this is convenient, they're all on the A string, so let's just bounce off of the open A string right there. Yeah, let me play that a little bit slower. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that one more time, really accent those open A's so that you can tell. Now check out the difference between those 2 phrases once you get them up to speed. That's the original. And that's the open A string variation. I really like having that in my back pocket, because a phrase like this, I kind of feel like if I were to personify this melody, it's like if you're trying to like reach for something on a really high shelf, and you're like, and then you like finally reach it on that last time, and you finally get there. So a variation like this kind of intensifies that feeling for me, because now instead of going from the D to the B, we're going from the D back down to the A, and it's just a little more angular. Well, I guess it's a little more scalar, and those scalars are kind of like coming at odd angles, which I find to be really interesting. Alright, cool. So I just want to mention one other thing, and then we're going to wrap up the workshop, and that's a little variation for the black phrase. As we learned earlier, the black phrase is and what I like to do here is, instead of taking an open string, I like to just keep this phrase going. So we're filling that space with a high B. Becomes, and once again, we have another flavor to mess around with. So please do take some of these things, try them out on this tune, try them out on other parts of the tune, try them out on different tunes. There's a lot of mileage that you can get out of this stuff. Yeah, I'm Max Anderson. Thank you guys for being here. I do teach private lessons. If anybody is interested, just send me an email. My email is manderson@berkeley.edu. I'm going to write that out, and I'm going to keep it up here for just a second. Yeah, we talked about some right-hand stuff. We talked about some... Oh man, this is a mess. That's good enough. So yeah, we talked about some right-hand stuff. We talked about different ways to make those exercises interesting. We learned squirrel hunters, and then we learned some ways to create variations around that. So yeah, thank you to Club Passim for having me. It was a really great time performing last night with Tater, and it was a great time being with you guys and teaching a workshop today. Stick around because there is music starting at 4 o'clock all the way until 11 o'clock tonight. You can find that on the artists' respective Instagram pages, or Club Passim is putting it all in one spot on their Facebook page, on their YouTube, and on their website. So please do check that out. If you enjoyed this workshop, there's a $25 suggested donation if you can do it. Anything really helps right now. Passim is doing a great job to keep artists going in Boston. They're paying artists for these workshops, for their performances. So anything that you can do to donate to the workshop, or there's a $15 suggested donation for the concert all day long, 7 hours of music. Anything that you can do helps. Yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for being here and playing some tunes. I think I'm just gonna play through the chords a couple times and just leave this here. If anybody wants to practice jamming, practice improvisation, yeah, I'm just gonna end the workshop that way. Oh yeah, donations go to passim.org/downhome. They just commented on Instagram, so please follow that link. Yeah, and we're gonna play the tune a couple times. Let's start with the melody once. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the A section. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks so much, guys. That was Squirrel Hunters. I'm Max Anderson. It's been good time hanging out with you guys. Enjoy the rest of the festival. Play some tunes for me.